looking at that game again, one of the underrated aspects, maybe or overlooked aspects, was Kyle Phillips blocking.
Yeah,
he threw some huge blocks.
He did, and not underrated by our coaching staff. I mean, that was he was one of our players of the game just because of how well he blocked and takes a lot of pride in it. All of our receivers blocked really well, and for us to run the ball, it takes 11. And Chase Cotto, Cam, Kyle, Matt Sykes, all those guys did a really nice job, in terms of helping. When you can get the ball to the perimeter like we did, we got to hold up on the perimeter in our blocks, and I thought our receivers did a really nice job against a really talented secondary.
Kyle's kind of a little bit undersized, so to speak, too, so it makes it all the more impressive, it seems.
No, I mean, Kyle was 190 pounds, so he's 5'11", 190. I think he's a really good-sized kid for that position, and it's really your want to, I think, is what separates Kyle from anybody else. But I think that the block he threw on Charbonneau's play, the block he threw on the goal line for Britton Brown's touchdown were two huge key points of the game, and that's part of what we do. If you're a receiver here, you got to block. You can't be a selective participant. You got to be able to do everything, and I think that's what makes Kyle such a great receiver, is that he will do everything. He will block, he can run routes, he can catch. He's a great special teams player for us. He's a real all-around football player. So.
Do you think that having Justin Fry, someone with an offensive line background, kind of makes everyone else on the team, the receivers and tight ends, better blockers?
Well, I'm confused with every coach, every team in the country has an offensive line coach. So.
Well, just him having a bigger role than just the offensive line coach.
Yeah, I think, again, everybody has every role. Justin does an unbelievable job, but there's not, when we go into a room, it's not, well, this guy talks more than that guy. I mean, it's everybody contributes, whether it's Jerry, whether it's Deshaun, whether it's Derek Sage, whether it's Justin. Everybody's on the same page. And again, I think Justin does an unbelievable job.
How does the defensive play calling work? Is Zazzanaro in the booth? And,
Jerry's in the booth.
Does Coach Norwood, is he on the sideline? Does he do secondary calls?
No, we have one call for our defense. Jerry calls the defense.
Okay. What goes into the blitz package designs?
Our entire staff. Jerry runs the meetings, and Brian, Don Pelham, Johnny Nansen, Jason Cafusi, they all contribute to our game plan. So we have a great staff that's very collaborative in everything they do. So there's not one person that stands up and has a dictatorship. They all come to conclusions. They all have different parts of the game plan that they present. There's a third down package, there's a red zone package, there's a coming out package, there's a fourth down package, there's a 4-minute offense, there's a 2-minute offense. There's a lot of situations that occur during the game, and everybody's in charge of kind of presenting that and showing what does the other team do in those situations. And then collaboratively, whether it's offensively or defensively, we sit down and as a group come up with what's the best plan for us to execute this week.
Yeah, I know you have no cause to look at social media, but you could well understand the fan base is pretty giddy right now because of Saturday's win and being 2-0, and they're pretty over their skis right now. How do you keep these guys who do read social media and do look at it, how do you keep their heads in it and keep them focused?
I think this is a mature group, and as we've talked about as a group, is that you can't own success, it's rented, and you got to pay your rent every week, and you got to pay your rent every day. So we're proud of where we are right now, but we need to continue to work, because 2-0 just means you're 2-0. You can be 2-10 when it's all said and done. So, I talked about it a little bit after the game. Is that last year, Mississippi State beat LSU in the opener, and then they lost their next 4 games. They were 1-4. So, this is a great sport, just like life is. For what have you done for me lately? So, I think our group has put that game in the past, and we need to move on. The good part is we have an improvement week this week. We got to get better in so many aspects of the game. And then start our preparation for a really good Fresno team. You just need to turn on the tape of the Fresno State-Oregon game and know how good a football program that Fresno's got right now. So Kalen's doing a great job with that team. They're sound in all 3 phases, so that gets our attention. And our guys got a chance to watch Fresno today, so this group's going to be focused on whatever the next challenge is.
Utah, this improvement week, 2 things I saw were some snaps, and some penalties that extended drives or put you in bad spots.
Two things, great point. 2 things we've talked about. We had the one bad snap and we were rolling a little bit there, and then we got to get that corrected. And there was a couple that sailed a little bit, but Dorian is such a really good athlete back there that sometimes he makes a bad snap not look like a bad snap because he can seamlessly transition after catching it. But it's something we'll continue to work on. It's not easy to snap and block at times, and especially when you got somebody on your head. So we'll continue to always work on that. I think John's done a really good job playing center for us in our first 2 games, so we're excited about that. And then we talk about penalties all the time, winning that penalty battle and the self-inflicted wounds, and especially when you look at the penalties, where do the hidden yards come in? And their drive extenders. Their field goal was a result of we could have got them off the field and third down, and we had a penalty. Those are things that we'll continue to harp on, and we'll continue to look at. If there's something that over time is consistent, then we need to really address it. But we do talk about that. And I think, not hurting yourself in this game is a big deal. And those unforced errors are things that can kind of set you back. And when you're playing really good teams, you want to be playing downhill football, not uphill football. When you get those penalties, you're playing uphill football.
Is there anything else when you looked at the film that you kind of stood out as like we gotta fix?
Yeah, there's always some communication issues. There were a couple times guys didn't get the signals. Was it because of where we were standing? Was it because of the signal similar to another signal and they got it confused? So you're always just kind of getting their feedback. That's part of what the process is when you watch tape with them. What was your thought process here and why did this occur? And then trying to fix it, because this isn't exactly the way we wanted this to look. What did you see and what did it come into you like? So you're always working through that, especially early in the season. When you got some new players coming in there, and we do have some new players sprinkled in. We are a veteran team, but we still have some new guys that are, Cam Brown, Zach, that weren't with us last year that are with us now. So, trying to get those guys incorporated and make sure they're up to speed.
What can you say about Johnny Nansen, both with what he's done with the defensive line and recruiting?
Yeah, Johnny's done a great job. We were really fortunate when we got a chance to get him hired when Vince left to go back to Boston College. He's been a kind of a standout in the Pac-12. Whether it was at Washington, was a great player at Washington State. And I knew of Johnny first when I was at Oregon, and he was up at Washington with Sark, and then the work he did at USC. So he's done a great job with our defensive line. Has done a really good job recruiting.
Bo had his first career sack the other day. Is he kind of symbolic of this team in a way? I mean, he's been here since you've been here, and he persevered through some things, and now it's really showing on the field.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with Bo. I think he's really solidified that edge position for us into the boundary. He's just such a hard worker, and the success he has is just a byproduct of his mindset and his work ethic, and it's been awesome to see him grow as a person, both on and off the field. So Bo's special, and he's one of the real true leaders of this team. When he speaks, everybody on this team listens, because they know how hard he works, and his actions back up his words. So to see the success he's having on the field is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to see that, and everything Bo's accomplished, he's earned. Nothing's been given to Bo. He's just kind of got that mindset and work ethic, and he's really one of the real true leaders of our defense right now.
Any update on Sam Marazzo? How's he progressing?
Sam's doing good. He'll be out here running around today, and then we'll see how that affects next week. But excited to see Sam continue to build and work, and we're always going to be smart and make sure we're never going to put anybody in harm's way. But I'm excited about the trajectory Sam's headed on.
Greg Dulcich seemed to indicate that his 75-yard touchdown might have been something that you saw on film that was a look that was going to present itself, that you were able to capitalize on. Was that the case?
Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, part of our game plan as we go through as coaches, and some of the things we were doing in the run game, and how we were formation, and people knowing that they had to overload back into the boundary to get extra people down at the tight end, and we had run that. We had run the run version of that play a couple times, so then we came back with a complimentary pass off of it and got a chance to spring him, and then he did a great job. Obviously he was open and Dorian put the ball on him, but then the run after the catch stuff that he did to stop, make the safety miss, and then to finish it in the end zone was just the type of player that Craig is. Smart, intelligent, but he's got such a great drive to him that he wants to finish everything he starts, and the best way to finish when you have the ball in your hands is in the end zone, and he did it.
Awesome.
Thank you. All right, thank you.